Hi, it's Laura. I just did a Whatnot show, and I'm trying to give it a second or two before my profanity begins. The shit show continues. The shit show continues. All right. So last week did a Whatnot show. It was the most pathetic of my regular morning shows that I've had. Right. I don't remember. I don't even remember. I think I've blocked it. I think I sold 3 items. I think during the show I sold 2. One person had a payment issue. She purchased directly from the marketplace after the show. We had to set it up for her. So pathetic, right? So this week, I'm like, okay, I basically used all the same inventory. I filled in the 3 pieces it sold with something new. Um, but I was like, I barely had anybody there and nobody bought anything. So let's just save myself the work and try again. Today, a little bit more activity. Somebody who watches me on YouTube did join. Thank you so much. That was really sweet. And we're super chatty. And I am so appreciative of that because it does make a big difference you know, for me also, because then I feel like I'm not standing around talking to myself, which ironically I'm doing right now. But I have hiccups now too. I don't know what happened. My apologies. Anyway, I sold a total of 7 items and they're going out to, it says 5. How is this? 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one person bought 3 items. Everybody else who purchased were single item purchases. Only one person was a new customer today. Um, so I'm gonna wrap the stuff up for you, and I'm gonna talk about like what else we might need to do. And by we, obviously, me. So the first item that I sold, this is to the new customer, was this adorable little jacket. It's a 50s kind of bolero style. This sold for $15. I've had this in a whole bunch of shows, so I am happy that it finally sold. I've had it in shows over and over again. I pulled it out for a while. I added it back in. You know, I just haven't tried to list it. I think there was one day where I was trying to style things, to take photos of for Etsy and whatnot. And I just couldn't figure out how to style it. So I just skipped it. And then I added it back into Whatnot again later. I love the jacket though. So this sold to a new customer, $15. Very exciting. Um, I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. I'm happy that it sold. I'm happy that it sold to a new customer. So I think my demeanor right now sounds sarcastic because, in general, my brain is still what the fucking about this whole situation. I will say that when I ended my show, I rated someone again. And when I rated that seller, her show was like crazy pixelated and cutting in and out. Like the connection was terrible. And that happens somewhat frequently on Whatnot. And while you can always say, like, it must be your own Wi Fi, like, I don't have these problems when I'm streaming YouTube, watching things, when I'm, watching Netflix or anything like that. And usually it's like myself and my boyfriend running things at the same time. He's usually listening to some podcast on his computer while he does work on eBay. I'm watching some YouTube thing while I'm trying to, whatever, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. And if you are a modern day person with attention problems, you're probably not only watching the YouTube video and working, but playing a game on your phone, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. So I feel like the connection issues are more on Whatnot's end. I notice that when I run Whatnot, my phone gets crazy hot, usually somewhat quickly. So, you know, I could try to like increase my Wi Fi. I don't know if I had connection issues or not. I didn't see many because I'm also watching myself on the laptop while I'm streaming. I can usually see if there's some sort of issue. I didn't notice. There was occasionally a jump here and there. It's normal. I don't know if that's what's going on. I don't know, if I'm being punished by someone for something, if my inventory sucked, if people are over it. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. So it also could, like a lot of that I'm saying sarcastically, it could legitimately be that they are bringing more and more sellers on. It could also be like, I don't go and interact with other sellers as much as I used to. I used to really jump into a lot of other shows and interact with people and sort of had relationships. And I haven't really been doing that because Whatnot takes so much attention. So it's on my part, like a very intentional effort to join other people's Whatnot shows and interact. You can't just like join and then that's it, because then of course there's like the 2 seconds where you join and then you're basically invisible again unless you continue chatting or you're buying things or whatever, Um, let me go on to the second issue and then I'll talk more about that. These are going to an existing customer, a repeat customer. These sold for $10. They're a pair of 70s jeans. There's no like tags or labels in the middle. They do have these cool fade marks, but obviously like sort of a storage fade thing. And they're a smaller size. I feel like they're like a women's extra small. So, that's why they were listed low. I do still have some cool 70s jeans that I need to get listed somewhere. I haven't put them on Whatnot because like I have a pair of Levi's and a pair of Landlubbers. But you know, I feel like they could get more money if I stick them elsewhere. But of course, they have to kind of wait for the right buyer. But that's okay. We'll see. Anyway, these sold for what did I say? $10, right? Yeah. I think I got these out of the attic haul. Not positive anymore. So anyway, there's that. The next thing that I sold was also for $10. Basically, I sold 7 items for $70, and that's before fees. I didn't calculate how much it's going to come out to after fees because I'm already depressed enough. Let's see. This sold today, this little, I don't know, like a caftan style tropical print dress, new old stock, really cool. So, and this sold for $10 to a repeat buyer. Going forward for Whatnot, my next steps for Whatnot, because do I want to crawl up and like never go on Whatnot again? Kind of, but also it's 2 shows, right? I feel like there's ups and downs with Whatnot a lot, and it's still hard to tell. People talk about summer slowdown across a lot of platforms. My other platforms have been pretty decent lately, not amazing, but they've been. Etsy's stepped up. eBay, eBay eBay needs to get it together. I've been getting like a sale a week on eBay. It's inappropriate. I don't know what's happening. My Depop had stepped up a little bit, ironically, also to maybe a sale a week. But for Depop, that was a lot. But that's kind of cooled off again. So I don't know. Anyway, but Etsy's been a little better for me. So it's been fine. It's been holding me together. But with Whatnot, it's hard to tell what is happening. So I'm gonna wrap this next item again. The next thing I sold were these printed pants. These also sold for $10. Oh, they're cool, little 90s pants, to a repeat customer. So what I'm going to try and do, I have a lot of inventory ready to go from a couple of, the estate sale I went to, from that Facebook marketplace buy that I did. So I'm going to try and get things loaded up in advance. I'm going to try and get nicer photos than I usually have. My photos are usually pretty substandard for Whatnot because, I'm just banging them out last minute. So a lot of times they're pretty dark, and don't worry about it because I'm going to show them live, but I'm going to try and make them more appealing, get them up in advance, and maybe try and do a little more social media marketing so that I can get an audience together beforehand. I'll see if that helps. I am going to reach out to a couple of other sellers that I'm friendly with that sell on Whatnot as well and see what their experiences have been lately. It's hard for me to know. I don't even know if they've been selling on Whatnot regularly because I don't go on there anymore. Whatnot gives you so many notifications and it just takes so much attention to sit there and just engage that, I don't do it too often. This next package is the repeat buyer that purchased 3 items from me. These were all pre-bids. I will admit that I was a little bit relieved that I actually had some pre-bids. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it'll be a decent show today. And, so this was 3 items totaling $25. So I'm glad that there were pre-bids. I'm glad that there were purchases. But, I did think that it would be a little bit better and it wasn't. Anyway, so there's this cute little t-shirt, right? This was $10. So we got that. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on getting things loaded up in advance. I'm going to try to have an actual thumbnail image. Usually my standard thumbnail is just my face, right? Which is fine. It's like sort of it's a branding of sorts, people know who it is, but it also doesn't draw anybody in if they're looking. I don't know how far in advance people look on Whatnot to see what shows they want to go to. So I think it really does come down to um, you know, marketing off of, like on Instagram or something. This cute little bag, this sold for $5. It's just a real, I think I got this for $1 at my thrift. It's like a little handmade, but adorable. So I just had it listed for $5. And the third item that she bought was this halter top. So when I had gotten this, I don't remember even where I got it. Did I get it at I don't even know. If it was an estate sale, the thrift store, I don't remember. I had two of them though. I had one listed in one show, and then I held the other one back. Um, and both of them sold with just the one bid. So that's fine. Sold for $10. Anyway, so that's that. So maybe if I put some effort into marketing in advance a little bit, that'll help me. Maybe, I don't know if it's more about my networking. I don't necessarily think it's just about my inventory. The people that I follow a lot that I really admire and that I, in my perception, do well on Whatnot, they are usually stocking their shows with the type of inventory that I would reserve for like Etsy. They are starting higher than I do, but also they're typically people who have much larger stocks of inventory to pull from than I do. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'll try and figure it out. I'm not giving up yet, but I admit that it hurts a lot to have two really terrible shows 2 weeks in a row. Um, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that was my whole little show. So for the rest of today, I am going to work on a little bit of everything. I'll put some listings up on Etsy, eBay, whatnot, Etsy, eBay, etc. And I'll try and get started on loading up my Whatnot show for next week, maybe with some better stuff, better photos, you know, and see if I can market it in advance. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I appreciate you watching this. I'm sorry I didn't have a better outcome to share with you, but that's okay. So thank you so much. Hopefully I will see you again soon. Bye. All right. I don't even know if I'm going to use this video because I've got this going on back here, but also this is just reality. So I did my Whatnot show earlier today. It was a flop. And I went and chatted with a few ladies on Instagram that I know do Whatnot shows, and they have all seen my shows in the past. And they're great sellers. I admire all of them. And so I just kind of went to them and said, hey, like, what has your experience been on Whatnot? I said my last 2 weeks have been atrocious, and it could be any of these number of things, but blah 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 blah. So it helped me. They all offered up some advice. Um, a lot of it wasn't necessarily anything that I haven't thought of before, but it's always good to just bounce things around with other people, get different perspectives. So I think this is what I'm going to try to do with Whatnot. Two different things. Number one, I am going to try and start populating my shows more in advance if I'm able to. Right now, I am definitely able to do next week's show, possibly a week beyond that, but I'm not sure. And I'm also going to try and do a little themed show. Whatnot really does like consistency, and I have been incredibly consistent every single Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's a weird time to go on, I think, but I've continued doing it because it's been working for me for the most part, right? The past 2 weeks have not. Maybe it's just whatever, any number of reasons. So, because that has been sort of my consistent time slot, I am going to try to continue going on with those while I also try some other things with Whatnot. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do a themed show um, in just under 2 weeks from now on a Wednesday night instead of a Thursday. And my first theme is going to be menswear. The reason I'm doing menswear, basically just I have a bunch of it that I literally just went to the laundromat yesterday, and a lot of the stuff that I got done was menswear stuff, right? I've gotten it from estate sales and the Facebook marketplace sale and stuff. So I'm going to try that also because Father's Day, but I don't know how many people are really buying vintage menswear as Father's Day gifts. We'll see. Ooh, I forgot I have a whole bunch of ties too. I can throw some ties in there. I don't know if anybody's doing that either. Anyway, going to try a themed show on an evening. My evening shows in the past have not gone great, but also my evening shows have really just been sort of like general women's mixed era, mixed sizing vintage. So I think if I keep my Thursday morning, anything goes women's vintage kind of show, I can still do what has sort of been working for me mostly until the last 2 weeks. And then I can try out some themes with the evening shows, maybe. In the past, I've done Thursday evenings. I think that this next time I'm going to do, well, I scheduled it for a Wednesday evening. I also, the ladies that I was speaking with, one of them wants to do a raid train, which I think will be great. And one of the ladies I was speaking with is going to have a show today. So I'm definitely going to have to jump on and attend that. Anyway, so the raid train will be super fun and that'll be very themed. And in a case like that, raid trains are kind of good because, you generally do have a theme. So let's say somebody did a raid train of all like disco, right? It's easier to put things in there that are like at a little higher price point, but also they're more curated. So the raid train, I definitely will pull out some like awesome pieces and price them up a little bit more and see how we do with that. And that also helps with like visibility and gaining different followers that you wouldn't have had before, all that stuff. So I'm going to try and do some different things. We'll see how it goes. In addition to the menswear stuff, I think I am going to plan a plus size show. I have to pull together all of my plus size pieces and see if I have enough to pull off a whole show. If I don't sell those pieces in a plus size show, which again, I'll schedule enough in advance to be able to like build up a follow for it. If I don't sell those pieces in a whatnot show, I think I will end up trying to get them to a plus size vintage seller that I've talked about before, Goldie's Vintage. Because I think pieces like that I can sell on whatnot just because of the formatting, but I have a harder time selling them on Etsy, eBay, etc. I don't know. We'll see. So that's it. I just thought I would share some of those thoughts with you. I'm not giving up on whatnot. I feel like I just need to, maybe this is just a push to try some different ways to make things work. Hi, Riz. So it's all stuff I've tried, but that's the thing. Like I've done themes in the past, they don't do well. I've done nighttime shows, it hasn't gone well. But again, whatnot's changed a lot of, there's a lot more sellers on there now. And I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to try and switch things up. Also, it really helps, I think, that right now my other platforms have been doing well enough that I'm not like in a panic mode. But I might turn into a panic mode if things don't pick up a little bit. Anyway, I thought I wanted to. I thought I would share those thoughts with you. And I'm literally sitting here right now, like putting in some menswear, little. I mean, this is pretty basic as menswear. What else did I pull for my little menswear show? These things are really cool. These came from the Facebook Marketplace. I think these are really cool. We'll see. Look at this thing. That's cool, right? It's a knit, and there's another one in another color. So those are fun. And then for my ladies show for next week, I've got a bunch of these, like this is a dagger collar kind of shirt. This thing, whatever this is like some stretchy, crazy fabric. It's a little, wow, the lighting makes this look way more discolored than it is. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's very, very mildly sort of discolored in person, but whew, okay. Anyway, fun stuff though. Cute little things. Little romper. Fun print. Fun. So I'm getting some of those loaded. I'm going to take nicer photos that are more bright and clear. not like I took a photo of a pile of trash and said, hey, do you want this? So anyway, all right, I'm gonna get going, get back to my little whatnot work, and then I have to do like some other Etsy eBay work. So thanks all. See you later.